clearly, the focus of the event coming up next Thursday will be the actual CT, presentation. We'll get to see the final version. We'll get the final specs. We'll start to see some glitzy reviews coming from the YouTube testers and influencers that I think have had possession of some of these trucks now for a couple of weeks. And some of those might even appear the same day. So that's a lot of the excitement that's going to be taking place, around the actual Cybertruck. But I suspect we might also have some demonstrations of the capabilities of the truck right there on the ground. So I would love it if there was some way to show the thing actually, acting as a boat. I don't know how they could accomplish that without going all the way down to the river, but who knows? There might be, but maybe that stuff will be done by video. And there will be speeches and there will be questions and answers. And then there will be one or more surprises or announcements. But as I asked in the thumbnail, did Optimus get an invitation? Just one? Many? Well, this is Randy Kirk. Please hit like, please hit subscribe, hit notify, because you want to be notified later today when Larry Goldberg co-hosts with me on Good News Friday. And there's certainly a lot of good news this week, including Tesla being up on the day, stronger than the rest of the market. And who knows for what possible reasons, but maybe one of those might have been that version 12 has been rolled out to the employees. I don't know if you knew that yet, but there you go. There's the news. So, Cybertruck orders. Okay, I'm talking about the one that has a bottle opener in it. Those orders are going crazy. The $20 price point seems to have hit a nerve. And of course, people are buying them in the multiples. So they can get them for their kids, for their grandkids, for their employees, etc. So send those orders, $20 a piece, as you know, and it doesn't matter how many you want to buy. It's $20. That's it, across the board. That's the lowest price they're ever going to be offered at, and that is the lowest price that starting on Tuesday, you'll have to actually buy 20 if you want to get that $20 price. So send it on over. Tell me whether it's camo or regular. I know about 10 orders that I don't know that answer, and I'm sending out emails and people aren't getting back to me. So it's really important to let me know, camo or regular. I'm actually out of inventory right now. I don't know which day I'm going to get my order, but probably Monday or Tuesday. So the shipments will start going out early next week. Randy Kirk, paypal.me/Randy Kirk. And then please join Patreon. We could use some more folks joining up this month. Good numbers. I'm very happy with my Patreon group, but it could be a lot stronger. If you have any inclination to help out the channel, you're getting value and you'd like to help out, that would be one way you could definitely do it. All right. As a marketer who has put on more events than I can remember, I've put on so many kinds of events and various kinds. I mean, that's one of my favorite things to do is put on events, and I've done a bunch of them. I've also organized well over 250 trade shows on 3 continents, many in Europe, a couple in Asia, mostly in the United States. But, and some of those have been, one of them had 10 booths, another one had 20 booths. A couple of them have had double deckers where we had a mimosa machine on the roof, or the ceiling roof, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, I've done a lot of trade shows, and I love designing and setting up trade shows. I would think it would be just so fun to have been on the team that was organizing the event coming up this Thursday, or any of the events that they do at Tesla. So anyway, the job they've been doing has been fantastic. I love the drone show, and some of the other things they've done have been actually absolutely fine. But, they're not quite up to Steve Jobs level, right? But of course, the new Apple events aren't up to Steve Jobs level either. He was the master. He was the ultimate master. So number one on my list for next Thursday would be to make Optimus the second star of the day. I'm pretty sure that Optimus has advanced a long way since the last thing we saw, and this would be the obvious and perfect time to have the bot do more than just a song and a dance. Some have suggested that Optimus should open the door of the Cybertruck to let Elon out when the vehicle is driven onto the main stage. And I think that would be good. But that would only be the beginning for me. The Cybertruck is a work truck, and Optimus is a worker. So why shouldn't there be a demo of the ways the truck can be used as a contractor's truck or a farmer's truck? Optimus could push the button to open the tonneau cover. He could load or unload equipment. He could plug items into the 110 and the 220 outlets and remove them from the 110. He could do that. He could operate one or more of the tools. He could potentially operate a Boring Company flamethrower. Then at the end, after the work is done, he can sit down with a bunch of the other workers and enjoy a beer that he has removed from the cooler on the truck. And of course, open it with one of my camo bottle openers. Not the one that Elon sold for $75 a piece, but the one I sell for $20 a piece and that you're just itching to get some of. Anyway, that would be part of what I would have Optimus do. Well, I'd go further than that. I would have several Optimi doing other tasks, potentially handing off a tool to somebody else or to another bot so that there was interaction between bots or between bots and humans. If I were in charge, I would also have a demo Optimus production line set up. It wouldn't be the entire line, although according to some experts on this, it wouldn't be that big of a line, but I might have we've seen Optimus, attaching an arm to another Optimus earlier, but maybe it would be more realistic. It would be an actual what that line might look like, and there might be examples of some of the actual parts, some of the actual actuators and other things that Tesla's making. Maybe we would see some of those in this production line, or maybe we'd see some of those being assembled or manufactured. So that would be kind of fun to see the manufacturing process actually coming together when folks take their tours. This is not something I would suggest that would be part of the show, but rather part of the tour. Now, usually the guests are also given during this plant tour, they usually go to some part of the factory to watch some of the cars being put together. Now, obviously at this one, you'd think they would be going to the Cybertruck area to see the Cybertrucks being manufactured. Now, I would have at least 2 or 3 bots helping to build some part of the CT. Maybe they're only doing lift and tote, maybe they're doing, maybe they're actually, using a screwdriver or using a wrench or using a power drill, but doing something that would show that they could actually stand there or sit there on the line and do actual work. So that would be a bunch of the stuff that I would like to see Optimus do at the show. Now, with regard to the Cybertruck, of course, we're waiting for the range, we're waiting for the pricing. We want the confirmation of the specs that have been leaked. We've heard some of these leaks, and we want, are these the real numbers? I mean, right now we know it's a 2,500 pound payload. According to leaks, 11,000 towing capacity. Are those really the numbers? Or, is it a different number when you get into a tri-motor than it is when you're in a dual motor? Because you would think they would potentially have more capacity if you've got another motor providing an additional amount of torque and or power. Anyway, just like to hear the confirmation of where those numbers are. And then, of course, pricing. Now, we might have a surprise on the strategy here. Normally, we're expecting them to come out with the very top of the line, the most expensive version, and sell a bunch of those before they even offer the second version, the next step down, and then eventually offer the third version step down. And Gary Black was on X earlier today saying that he thinks maybe one of the lower price models would be better to start there. Well, I put on my manufacturer's hat, and I asked myself, this is going to be a difficult thing to manufacture, maybe. Now, maybe they've already overcome everything. Who knows? We don't know. They're not going to announce that. Maybe they think that they've got it all pretty well figured out and that it's not going to be that tough to ramp. But maybe they still think that there's some real issues when they start, trying to bend metal, once every 15 seconds instead of once every minute or once every 3 minutes or whatever. So what might I do as a manufacturer? Well, I might want my first product to be the one the one I believe I'm actually going to make the most of. So in other words, let's get the mass-produced version done first and really crank them out. That might be a possible part of the scheme. Another possible part of the scheme that people have mentioned is if you have any limitations on motors or you have any limitations on batteries, well, then maybe you're going to do the 2-motor first because it uses less, one less motor per vehicle, and it uses considerably less batteries per vehicle. So that could be another possibility, that we'd have the decision would be based on the supply of motors and batteries, or something else that we're not even thinking about that might be a limiting factor. Anyway, so those are some of the things that might be going into this decision, but in about 6 days, we're going to know. My best guess is still that the $79,000 model will be the one that's first, but maybe they will. Some people say, hey, they might offer that one as well as a $69,000 dual motor or something along that line. Maybe it's a $59,000. Anyway, so lots of surprises, a lot of stuff coming. So what do you think? Will Optimus be the co-star? Or will he only take second billing? Or will he just have a bit part? It have a bit part. I got to get my pronouns straight. Which version of the CT will be ready to sell during the early days of the ramp? What price points will there be? I'd love to hear those. Tell me in the comments below. Maybe I'll put together an assembly of some of the comments and we'll do a show on that. What other surprises are you expecting that day? Do you think they'll have a quad, an adult quad? Remember, the quad was announced the same day as the Cybertruck. They drove it right up there on that ramp. Do you think we'll get a quad? Is there a quad ready to go? Is the trunk, I mean, not trunk, the bed of the truck still large enough to handle a quad? Big questions. Maybe you have some answers to that in the comments below. All right, let me remind you once more. In a couple of hours, a few hours, Larry will be joining me. We're going to be talking about the week in review. We're going to be talking a little bit about the week ahead. We're going to be talking about the fact that Tesla beat today. We're going to be getting all that stuff together and talking about that on Good News Friday, probably around 4 o'clock California time. Tomorrow, haven't decided what the product is going to look like in the morning, but it'll be fun. And then in the afternoon, we have the regular news program in the as always, the only guy. Well, I think so. There's other folks now playing around in some of my territory. Nobody is still doing the after the bell. Nobody's doing that financial news in the morning and the financial news in the afternoon that's focused on Tesla. I've got that territory all to myself. Don't tell anybody. It's really doing well. Okay, so then get your Cybertrucks, get your bottle openers. I don't know where mine is. I probably sold it. I probably shipped it. I had to ship the camel one. So maybe maybe the stainless one is gone now too. Anyway, it has been great talking to you today, and I look forward to seeing you later with Larry.